Hello, welcome to Jazz Is
Jazz's
MasterClass series
at the National Jazz Museum at the National Jazz Museum in Harlem.
I am Sekou McMiller, the Curator of Special Projects.
My name is Albert Marquez, Sekou Farrell.
My name is Shirazette Titten.
And we are in conversation with the legendary Bertha Hope. Jazz could only have happened here in America.
The key to everything was the radio.
So this world is too dense. 15 minutes isn't enough to cover it all.
Are you ready? I am.
We're talking about music, right? And so it is already inextricably linked to our humanity. And I think that is...
Welcome to Jazz Is MasterClass series at the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. I am Sekou McMiller, the Curator of Special Projects, and we're here today in conversation with Asia Burrell Wood. She's an accomplished educator, musician, archivist, and curator, and she's the managing director at the Berkeley Institute of Jazz and Gender Justice. Welcome, Asia. How are you doing today?
Very good.
We're in conversation today about jazz, culture, and justice. Just right away, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind when this sort of topic comes up for you?
When I think about this topic, I think about the richness, the brilliance, the resilience, and the enduring nature of Black people, Black community, Black art, Black music, Black Americans specifically. In this case, I'm thinking about and how beautiful and how powerful that is, and how it has sustained us and continues to.
When you think of culture and jazz, you know, jazz itself, I would say jazz is a culture, right? But it comes from a space. And like, when you think of jazz as a culture, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I have to situate it, you know, in its historical, social, and cultural context, and to do that with, you know, the art form it is and the genre itself. We have to understand that jazz is at its roots is a Black American art form, right? That's who the creators were. This is born, but also born specifically out of the experiences of being Black in America, and then eventually, you know, over time, and absolutely has roots that were ancestrally carried over, right, from the continent of Africa, but jazz forms here in the United States, in America. And so again, it's very much also about those specific experiences and what that meant to be Black, and how anybody had to deal or navigate in that. I think we should always recall and remember that, you know, jazz is formed in a Jim Crow America, right? Now, that is not what, you know, our 21st century necessarily looks like, while there are remnants, but jazz was formed in a Jim Crow America. So we can't ever divorce that from, and when we seek to really try to understand, appreciate, and honor, while also jazz becomes a global. It is very much so global, but I also think because of some of the things that it's imbued with it, you know, the transformational qualities of the art form, the fact that it's also the community is really important here as well, that those things that probably do and very much have, you know, translated globally. But yes, it begins here.
Oh, so you said that jazz was born in the Jim Crow era,
and in Jim Crow America,
the Jim Crow America, and was born of the African American experience and culture. And so I'm curious, like, when you say that, how would you describe that experience and how that shaped the music, the pressure on a piece of coal, a carbon to compress and create the diamond? What is that pressure? What is that
Okay.
What are those conditions?
You have to consider a society, right, where your humanity is constantly, systemically, daily, not only not recognized, but that it is being this or is being sought to be taken away from you, right? You are not even human. You are subhuman. You are not that's how you understand yourself. But this is a place at a site that you have to navigate through. And I mean, in general,
This is like an active imposition upon.
as yes, and like I said, systemically, right? Because when we say Jim Crow, that's also pointing to laws, right? These are things, while immoral, were absolutely legal, right? And we're also talking not that long after the enslavement of people for also hundreds of years and several generations, right? But after after abolition, right? After all the way down to to Juneteenth, it doesn't mean that all full rights are granted, and then all of a sudden, the United States is seeing Black people as equals, right? So no, that's not exactly what's going on. So this is the immediate past, is what I just set up, as well as whatever that present, was in those first few, the first few decades, right, in the 1900s, like we're talking about that. Music again is a thing that humans do in general.
Yes.
We do say birds sing, and there's maybe a thread to follow about that, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about music, right? And so it is already inextricably linked to our humanity, and I think that is also global, right? And so jazz being forged in a time, in a place, in a context where the humanity of Black people in the United States was constantly under fire, constantly under threat, and constantly not recognized, let alone not affirmed. So what do you do in those circumstances? I think, communities have to affirm themselves.
Yeah, self-identification. Yeah.
They have to affirm themselves. They have a tradition, they have a culture, right? So when I say like jazz is coming out of this, it's not just like the culture just didn't exist and then jazz happened. And no, the culture exists, much like when hip hop forms. Like there's a culture, there's a community already there, but that maybe helps that those settings and those circumstances contribute to how that music forms at that time, right? And so similarly, it would be for jazz and for anything else. But I think what you're going to hear is, or if you're thinking about what those tenets or elements, you're going to hear humanity, you're going to hear transformation, you're going to hear already generations of culture, but also new ideas. Right. I also think jazz has always been a futuristic music. Always looking forward while also completely honoring the past at the same time, right? And being present. I mean, it's I don't know. Are jazz musicians time travelers? Maybe.
Maybe. The
But
ultimate beacons.
very good ones.
Right.